Stop Exeter.
Welcome to our latest edition of Next Stop Exeter. You like alligators, reptiles, all that and more right here at Prehistorix Reptile Zoo, right here on Kingston Road. I'm Paul Nicholson. We're here inside at Prehistorix Reptile Zoo, and joining me is the proprietor of the business, Mr. Dave Hollenborg. And Dave, thank you so much for joining us today.
No problem.
And appreciate the opportunity to come and see a new business here in Exeter.
Yeah, it's a little different.
So when did you open your doors here?
Well, we opened a little over 3 years ago. And we actually opened as a fish and reptile store. And we rescued animals, and we actually did educational shows kind of on the side, like behind the scenes type of thing. And about 6 months ago, dealing with stuff online, and rescuing the animals is what we really like to do, and that was where it all started, really. We just pretty much got rid of the store idea and went, more for education, trying to rescue the animals, give them a good home, but also like promote animal awareness, and we go to schools and stuff, and it's more fun that way. We get to have more fun to interact with people and instead of trying to sell somebody something every time they walk in the door.
So you reference we, but you're not doing this by yourself.
No.
I understand your wife is also a big part of it?
Yeah, my wife and I are co-owners, and then we actually have someone that's been with us literally before our doors opened, Luther, who we wouldn't be where we are today if it wasn't for them too, and even like other friends. We've had, even the Exeter community in general, there's a lot of people that have helped us through the way that, because, rescuing reptiles isn't really everyone's top priority. It's the fluffy animals, the cats and dogs that get all the attention. But we've got 6 alligators all rescued literally from New Hampshire, not even New England. They're all from New Hampshire, where people buy them either illegally or whatever, and then we get them and give them a good home.
So at Prehistorix, is it fair to say that you're a retailer?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Are you a wholesaler?
A little bit of both.
Yeah.
We actually breed a lot of animals, like reptiles in general, that make good pets. Because a lot of people, you can order an alligator offline pretty easily from somewhere in Florida and get it. They obviously don't make good pets, but there are plenty of reptiles that make great pets for kids, especially kids that are allergic, that can't have dogs and cats or small animals. Reptiles are great because people aren't allergic to them. And we actually have a whole room dedicated to just all the animals that we breed here. So they're captive bred right here in Exeter. They're healthy. We know, everything about them, and it's more fun that way to be able to sell the animals that we produce, and we know everything about, from literally the day they hatched to what they eat, and gives people nice healthy animals as well.
So your wife Sylvia's from this area?
Yeah. Yep.
You're not from this area?
No. I've been in New Hampshire pretty much my whole life, but I'm from Pelham, down pretty much on the Mass border, and my wife grew up in East Kingston.
So you see the irony there is the Pelham pythons.
Oh yeah.
Right? And you're in the python business.
This is true. This is true. Yeah, absolutely. I believe actually they do have a python now too. For the longest time they didn't, but at least they finally do. So, yeah.
So you opened your doors here, like every other business that comes into town here. At some point, you had to approach the town and let them know what you were trying to do.
Oh yeah.
Tell me a bit about that process.
Yeah, I mean, really, what it came down to is me and my wife actually met working at another local pet store in Exeter, Little Critter, and we loved it there. We had a lot of fun, but it's still a little bit of everything. You get the dogs and cats, and we wanted to focus on this. So once we decided we wanted to do it, we literally started like everybody else, and we did a business plan, and we actually approached her dad. That's how we got this building, because he owns the building and the land. And once he was on board and he loved it, the next thing was we had to go for the town, because especially in this area, it's residential. This building's always been a business, but it wasn't what we had, so we had to go. And there was actually a little bit of confrontation, because they thought we were going to have dogs and cats, and they really weren't worried about the alligators and the snakes and stuff. It was more or less, no one wanted kennels out back full of dogs and barking and stuff. So the best part about reptiles is they're very easily contained, and they don't really make any noise. And other than in here, the certain smells you get, they don't put off any certain smells or noises. So it makes them pretty easy. So, and the town was really supportive about it. You know, they were, once they knew it had nothing to do with dogs and cats, they pretty much, you know, have been, you know, right behind us the whole time.
Is all of the creatures that you have in here, are they all cold-blooded?
Yeah, yep, all reptiles are cold-blooded. Basically, that's obviously why you can tell it's so warm in here all the
Yep.
time. But, you know, there's always tropical music playing, so it gives you that, you know, even in January, you can come in here and think you're
Well, that sounds like a plug.
Yeah,
You know,
oh yeah,
you
it
don't
does.
have the money to go to Logan and fly somewhere.
Yeah, exactly.
You
Come in
come
here.
here.
Yeah, you can wear a flower shirt if you want, you know, whatever. I mean, I wear sandals every day to work for the most part, just because it is so hot in here, and I hate to say it, we're in and out of the water and stuff sometimes. But yeah, you know, it's a nice little place to come, especially in the middle of the winter time when it's freezing cold outside. You know, we get a jacket hook because you can't have a sweatshirt or jacket on in here for too long. So yeah.
So because you were at a pet store already, you knew that part of the business
Yeah.
very, very well.
Yep.
How hard is it to get insurance for business when you have people interacting with crocodiles?
Yeah, it's
and
tough. I mean,
alligators?
luckily, I mean, right now, we don't, with the state law, we actually can't let other people interact with alligators and crocodiles. So it helps a lot. You know, they're really just on display. But, you know, as far as that goes, you know, it's really not that hard, especially with reptiles, to get the licenses and stuff that you need. You know, all of our alligators are licensed, our crocodiles are licensed, taken to the vet and stuff every month. The biggest thing is if you want to go other places with them, that's when it really kind of, there's a lot of rules and insurance that goes along, especially if you want to try to go set them up somewhere. So that's why we did the zoo here, and then even in the summertime, we built some bigger ponds outside so they can be outside. The most interaction we can get right now is, you know, when people come, you can sit here, we have food that you can throw in and feed them. And in the summertime, we have like a fishing pole style that you can sit there and dangle food for them and they can eat it that way. That's the most interaction we can do with the alligators and crocs. But as far as everything else, there's not really a lot of regulations and laws as far as snakes and stuff, other than things that are obviously like venomous, you know, cobras and stuff we can't have. But, you know, we've got a 15-foot snake that, you know, we bring to kids' parties all the time, and we'll line up 10 or 12 kids and they'll all sit there and hold them, and yeah, it's really not too bad. You know, especially with us, this is what we do every day, so we're always interacting with the animals. They know us, they're comfortable with us, and we know what they're comfortable with and what they're not. So especially if, you know, you're safe and you're professional about it, but you still, you know, but we still have fun. You know, and that's the main thing. It's always safety. It's always number one.
So you
priority.
mentioned kids' parties.
Oh yeah.
So you're bringing these creatures
Yeah.
off-site
Yeah.
to places?
Yeah, yeah. We've done. We do a lot of stuff with Karate International in Exeter too.
Yeah.
We try to do a lot of stuff with local businesses, even like local families. Even our shows are a little cheaper for anyone in Exeter. You know, we try to give back a little bit, or as much as we can. You know, even especially being a new business. You know, we always try to give back, and we do like the Christmas parade and the Festival of Trees. But yeah, we'll do, you know, we even do breast cancer awareness days. We'll bring a bunch of animals, and it's just to, one, for us to promote the animal awareness, but, you know, saying somebody's bringing a, you know, sulcata tortoise, which is the third largest tortoise in the world, somewhere people want to see it. So it gets people to come in, interact with us, but also to, you know, do different things. So we do birthday parties or school shows. We do stuff with the libraries, the local libraries. We even have kids that are homeschooled, where, you know, they're homeschooled, they can't get all the hands-on. They'll come here and we'll help them out with science classes or projects, because we have a little bit of everything. Turtles, tortoises, salamanders, bugs, alligators, you know, so we try to, you know, the biggest thing for us is education, because if we can educate people, then hopefully people aren't going to be buying alligators as pets. You know, there are plenty of good ones you can buy, there are plenty that you shouldn't either.
And I understand sometimes when people buy alligators as pets, they regret getting them.
Oh, yeah.
And they end
Almost-
up having to find a new
Almost
home for
everybody
them.
does, yeah. You know, realistically, almost anything is cute when it's a baby. You know, especially when it's this big. They're all adorable.
Yep.
But, you know, alligators, they can grow easily a foot a year. So, especially if you're taking care of them right, and, you know, they get big quick, people get intimidated, and then you're nervous. And, you know, the more nervous, especially with reptiles, the more nervous you are, the more nervous the animal's going to be. And yeah, there's plenty of people that will regret buying alligators. We have a Nile crocodile, one of the only ones in New England, that was bought as a pet. You know, and luckily, you know, we actually worked with the Fish and Game with them, because they were trying to find it a home and no one could really take it. And, you know, we took him and we set him up, and, you know, he's happy, healthy. And now people actually get to see him, and you can interact with him too. You can throw food in there and he'll eat it. And
So you're a resource then to professional organizations that
absolutely.
assist.
Yeah, we try, you know, especially with reptiles, because even the SPCA, you know, you can bring them cats and dogs and bunnies. You can't bring them reptiles. They're not set up for it.
Yep.
Because the way you got to look at it is every cage in here is set up for their specific needs. Some of them need certain light or heat or humidity, dry. Everything comes into a factor, and when you're trying to rescue that many, it's tough. So actually, the SPCA even pushes people our direction, because at least here we've got it set up. We keep all the food on hand, and we pretty much have just about anything we need for reptiles here.
So if somebody, I understand from your wife Sylvia that someone actually left a box at your door.
Yeah. That's when that was actually when we were still a store.
Yeah.
We had someone come in, and people always call us about alligators and stuff sometimes, and they're nervous to get rid of them because they know what they did is illegal. So it's it's a gray area. We showed up one day and there was 2 in a box, just taped up. We didn't even know what was in it. It's not like we got a call like, hey, there's a box on your front door, and sure enough, we get here and it's wiggling, and we're like, all right, here we go, and open it up, and there's 2. I mean, this box was about this big. It was probably an 8x8 box, like 3 feet long. Like a big tube went in there or something, and sure enough, there was 2 in there, pretty much like belly to belly, just swished in. And obviously, because people are just too afraid, because they're afraid they're gonna get in trouble. And that was probably almost 2 years ago now, and they're in here somewhere. There's one sitting right here, right behind me. He was a little guy. He's probably about this big, as you can see. But he's great now. We try to interact with the gators a lot because they're extremely smart. They're not as crazy and as aggressive as people would think. So, we take them to shows and we take them out and stuff sometimes. So people can at least. We can't let anyone else interact with them or hold them because of the state laws, but at least, just getting up close and personal with them, it's not something you can do every day. We have people actually that have come up from Florida on vacation. They're like, we never would have thought we'd be in New Hampshire feeding alligators, But it's different. It's a lot of fun, and then we try to add the education in there because, especially for me, I'm a hands-on person. I was never a bookworm, and I've learned almost everything I have here. Plenty of books and reading online, but a lot of it's hands-on as well.
Well, speaking of worms, what do you feed, or how much do you feed all of these guys?
Well, everything, that's another thing too. Everything's a little different. We actually, like I said, again, I keep going back to the community. The community's huge around here. And there's a group called St. Vincent de Paul. They take in a lot of food, to feed people that they can't, afford food or whatever. But there's a lot of meat that they get that's past human consumption. And instead of them just throwing it out, they bring it here every time. So sometimes we're talking 3 or 4 times a week. We got a box sitting outside on the porch right now that they just brought in. We haven't actually bought food for any of our alligators or crocodiles in over probably a year and a half. Not one. Only thing we actually buy is the food that people feed them, which is a special crocodilian diet. But the food that we feed them, like the staple diet, we actually get that for free just from donating, which is great. We do have to buy plenty of bugs. We buy about 4,000 to 6,000 bugs a week to feed all of our other insectivores. We have to buy rodents to feed our snakes and stuff, but we luck out. A lot of stuff, we either get donated or people even donate money. That's why we have the exhibit here, because before we were a store, we were selling stuff. All the money we were making from the store was going into taking care of all the animals, because we had a lot of these that were just more confined out back, because it was split into 2 sections. So now, people come in and, we give them a nice tour when we show them all kinds of animals, we'll take them out, but it's also paying for the food, the electricity. You got to think about all the lights, and, just the lights in here, they're 300 watts a piece. That's just one cage. So that's 600 watts that's running 24 hours a day.
So it sounds like somebody could sponsor.
Yeah, oh yeah, absolutely. Sponsor, yeah, we do. We have a few customers, or actually really they're friends at this point, that have just come in here and they donate every week. Even if it's $5 or $20, but it helps because we're always buying food, and some of the light bulbs we need, they're vitamin bulbs. They're only good for so long. And bedding. I mean, there's always something else, but people are really great about it. And that's why we did this, because like I said with the store, people are coming in, you want to be friendly, but at the end of the day, you got to try to sell them something, or else you're not paying bills. You're not buying the food for the animals. Now people come in and, some people will spend 2 hours in here. They'll ask every question, and we'll take out, numerous animals. We have a whole breeding room that we have where we actually breed a lot of the animals that we sell, so people can see that going on. And we've had people here while eggs were hatching, or while we're taking eggs from, certain parents. So, it goes with education, but then it's also, it's just a lot of fun for us too.
So we're indoors now,
yeah,
but there's an outdoor component to this business
yeah.
as well. Can you describe that a little bit?
Yeah. In New Hampshire it's tough because obviously it's only warm for so long. Most of these animals, there's only probably a few that can go a little under, but most of them have to be at least 75 degrees all the time. So, in the summertime, spring, summer, fall, sometime, depending on the days, what we'll do is we have about, right now, I think there's about 8 or 9 cages out there. And we'll bring all the animals out for the day sometimes. We always take them in at night because we're always worried someone's going to come in or try to wrestle an alligator at night or something while we're not out there. So we bring them in at night, but it's really great because their pond outside is 3 times the size of this one. And they get to sit underneath the sun. We have iguanas that we'll put in fresh air cages that will literally just bask in the sun all day, and we can spray them with the hose, and they love it. And honestly, we started doing that for the animals. Like it wasn't even like a park at first. We were just like, we're gonna build some quick cages outside and throw our tortoises out there so they can have fun and be in the sun and eat the grass. And then someone was like, well, why don't you guys charge a little bit and let us walk through and we can pet them and feed them and stuff. And we were like, all right, yeah, that sounds like a fun idea, because at least that way, people like it. And we have a little section out there with picnic tables and a stage and like a grill area where we actually rent out for parties, so people can have a party out there, and we'll do a show for them. And we put games and stuff out there in the summertime. It's tough now, we're getting ready for winter, but we're moving it all inside, and we do a lot of the stuff inside too. But like I said, we started just for the animals. That's what it is for us. Animals come first, and then the people and what we're doing next, because that's what we're in it for. There's not a lot of room even to walk around. We made sure it's at least handicap accessible, but we did it to make the cages as big as we could and make it as easy as we can to clean them. Because when people aren't here and they're not doing the zoo, we're cleaning every day, all day. That's pretty much all we do unless there's customers in the store, because there's always something that has to be cleaned or fed. So.
Well, it's clear you care very much about the reptiles. Do you have like a name for all these crocodiles?
Believe it or not, yeah, pretty much. Other than maybe a handful of the fish and all of our turtles right here, everything in here pretty much has a name. We honestly try to stick with cartoons and like TV shows like Game of Thrones. All these guys are named after Game of Thrones characters, and it just goes. We do, because that's the biggest question most time with kids. They want to know how big they are, what they're going to eat, but their main concern is what their name is. So, this is actually Joffrey right here, swimming behind us.
So when one of those characters is taken off the show because they had an accident with a sword or an axe or something like that. Yeah. Do you feel badly? Like
a little bit, yeah. I mean, he got his name because when he was little, he had an attitude, and that was when the show first came out. And they kind of went hand in hand. Sure. And then we just kind of went with it because it's easier to have them all one, instead of having like Joffrey and Aladdin and all mixed up. They're all Game of Thrones characters. A lot of our big snakes, and sometimes we do rescue a lot of animals. So sometimes we'll keep the names that they come in with. We have a great snake that we bring everywhere. His owners named him Bubba when he was little, and that's what we kept. It's easier for us too, because when you have a few hundred animals, it's hard to come up with names sometimes.
Do you have a group of them that are named after characters on The Walking Dead?
We don't. We should though. No, we should, honestly, because we're all big Walking Dead fans too, but I'm surprised that hasn't come up yet. No Glenn either. Yeah, we're afraid to jinx it because I feel like too many of them are taken away too fast.
Gotcha. Well, can we take a walk around and see kind of what everything you have here, to give people at home a better idea of the type of animals? Yeah. Great, let's do that.
All right.
Is this reptile still alive because it's not moving?
Yeah. Usually, I was actually just wiping his face off. Usually, what he'll do is you can see his claw marks. He'll actually get up here on the side because the tortoises are one of the things people can really interact with. You can actually hand feed them. But we have 6 of these guys. These are our 2 biggest ones. This is Bilbo and Frodo. They're African spur tortoises. Both rescues. Really great animals, but believe it or not, they're only about 15 or 20 years old. They can live to be over 100. The oldest one I think was like 150 years old. Don't obviously make the great pets, but for us they're awesome. They're very personable, and little kids love them to sit here and you can hand feed them and stuff and pet them.
And nothing like a Lord of the Rings reference.
Yeah, right, exactly. Yeah, we do. We have plenty of Lord of the Rings. They're actually all the tortoises are Lord of the Rings characters. So, yeah. This one, let's see. She's very rare. We actually went all the way to New York to get this one because it's so rare and you can't find them enough. It's called a Nile softshell turtle. She doesn't like to be out too much, obviously, but they're very rare. And with her, she needs a very special sand to be in there, because that's how what you'll see is if she sits there long enough, she'll start burrowing underneath the sand, kind of like a little stingray or something.
And that came from a residence in New York?
Yeah, someone in New York had it. They were trying to sell it, And with something like that, if they get sold around too much, even just bounced around, they don't. It's very hard. We were even nervous just bringing it all the way back, but you know, luckily for us, we got down there and we got it and gave him a good home. Yeah, this is one of the big highlights. This is Gustav. He's one of the only Nile crocodiles that we know of in New England. And he was a rescue. Same thing. Someone had bought it, thought it was really cool. We actually ended up working with the Fish and Game, and that's how we got this guy.
So what's one of the distinctive differences between a croc and an alligator?
Biggest thing is their snout. If you look at the alligators up front, they got a big round snout.
Yep.
If you look at his, it's very slender. Also, with the crocodiles, you can see their top and bottom teeth, how they interlock like that. The alligators, it's really tough. All you can really see is kind of their top teeth.
Okay. So what's Luther have here?
Right here we have a Burmese python. This is one of the larger species of snake in the world. He falls in around about place number 3 behind the anaconda and the reticulated python.
Yep.
But yeah,
This guy's actually also a rescue, and he's kind of has a cool story. If anyone's ever seen that show, Northwood's Law, it's a Maine Fish and Game show on Discovery, he was actually confiscated off that show, or on that show, you know, while they were doing something, and he actually went to another home who was getting closed down because some animal problems, and then we actually ended up getting him through there. And he was actually known to be an aggressive snake, but this is one of the ones that we'll bring to kids shows because he's great. We actually call him ball and chains. If you look at Luther's leg, it's pretty much what he does every time. Even if you drop him on the ground, he always has his tail wrapped up around your leg. So
it's like carrying around a ball and chain. I mean,
Yep.
this is not a light snake by any means.
Yep.
These guys can get over 100 pounds, no
Oh
problem.
yeah, easy.
And they get around 18, 20 plus feet in some cases, where the retics, I think the world record, we have one down here, they will get 26.4 feet, I believe is the world record right now. But
Yeah.
yeah, you can find these in Southeast Asia as well. And they're actually a big problem too down in Florida. There's legislation against them, which makes it you know, illegal to
Yeah, you
transport them
can't ship
across
these guys
state
anymore.
lines. It'd be a felony. But these guys are beautiful animals, and they're one of the more popular snakes in the early 90s and 80s, back when the first albino was produced.
Yeah.
He is heavy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you can, you know, it's a little bit different once you get your hands on them. You can actually interact with the animal, and you can feel how much muscle they actually possess, and how strong these animals are.
Pretty much one big muscle.
You know,
Other than the organs and stuff.
it really provides, you know, a newfound respect for people, and that's why we like to be really hands-on at our reptile zoo. It's because it helps people understand and get better appreciation.
Yep. This is something you'd find pretty much in Australia. It's called the blue-tongued skink. And these guys we do breed that make really great pets.
What's his name?
This is Igor.
That was Eeyore.
Eeyore. Yep.
Eeyore.
That's it. Yep. And maybe to give you guys a perspective of what we do for rescuing and stuff, as long as this guy doesn't bite me on camera. Here, buddy.
Here's the guy to the right.
This is one that we actually rescued. And most people wouldn't know, I guess, by looking at it, but the front of his face is actually gone. It was, who knows what happened, the owners really didn't know. Could have been chewed off by like a rodent or something. This is a lot of the stuff that we get. You know, a lot of zoos, they go for stuff that's perfect, you know, no flaws. A lot of our animals have all kinds of little kinks and flaws, but, you know, he eats fine. He's actually kind of old, but just gives him makes him a little different. But he's actually missing like his whole nose and front of his face, probably about 1/2 inch to 3/4 of an inch. Yep. But we'll just keep him and give him a good home and show people, and that's about it. Okay, buddy?
Dave, it looks like you have more than just reptiles.
Yeah. We actually we had two dogs prior to Khaleesi here, but other than rescuing reptiles, a little over 1.5 years ago, you know, people came in, and this dog was actually 7 weeks old. Come here. She was actually going to be put to sleep because she had a bad eye, and Sylvia actually ended up doing a donation, a fundraiser, and we got their eye removed, and she's a little over 1.5 years now, and she's a great little girl. Oh, come here, Khaleesi.
It looks like she should have a saddle.
Yeah. She's
big.
an English Mastiff. She's about 160 pounds. So.
She still thinks she's a lap
Yep.
dog, but
Hey, so tell me what your schedule is here. People would like to come
Yeah,
see the dog. And
winter time, we actually cut down a couple days just because we do a lot of shows and stuff during the winter. So right now, we're open Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Thursday and Friday, 12 to 7. Saturday 10 to 7 and Sunday 10 to 5. And then come springtime, we're open Tuesdays and Wednesdays 12 to 7.
And you have a Facebook page?
Yep. Oh yeah, Facebook page. Just Prehistorix with X on a C, and same thing with the website prehistorix.com.
And if people would like to have you come to their function, their
Yeah.
school,
Yeah.
what have you, they can just reach out to you?
Yeah. Give us a call, shoot us a message on Facebook, email. Doesn't really matter. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for allowing Next Stop Exeter to come to your shop here
No problem.
and enjoy the interactive exhibit.
Yeah.
And look forward to coming here again, because my sense is that this isn't it for you guys.
No. Who knows where what'll take us next? We're hoping we got plenty of land out there, so we'd like to try to get a bigger building at some point. But who knows? We're always changing stuff up. So.
Great.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for joining us here on Next Stop Exeter. Join us next time. I think we're going to be heading down to Epping Road to visit our friends at Neighborhood Beer Company. All that and more right here on Next Stop Exeter.